I'm Jared Broyles with your morning update. The Topeka Zoo says one of its cheetahs, new arrivals this summer, had to be euthanized. The zoo believes Leopold suffered a spinal injury on September 18th. His condition worsened and an MRI later showed irreversible damage. Now the zoo is adjusting the exhibit, they say, and focusing on Leopold's brother, Roosevelt. Christopher Barnshaw, the man accused of killing his father and sister before kidnapping his 2-year-old nephew, had been ordered to stay away from their home. The two were found fatally shot in Topeka on July 22nd. Court records show the victims had warned police about him days earlier. Surveillance video showed him at the home before the killings. Barnshaw was later found in Illinois with the child and now faces murder charges. That's a look at some of your 13 News This Morning updates. Of course, you can always visit our website, WIBW.com, for more news, weather, and sports anytime, all the time. But right now, let's check in with Doug Myers for a look at your full forecast.
And out to the rain yesterday and the past couple of days, the rainfall this week where many spots have been in that 1/4 inch to 1 inch range, indicated by the green. Some areas have been in the blue, which indicates 1 to 3 inches, and even an isolated area of about 3 to 4 inches east of Riley with the purple color showing up there. Otherwise, about 1 to 3 inches from Riley over towards the Emmett St. Mary's area, and then a lot of areas in that 1 to 3 inch range along Highway 36. Hopefully you got at least some rain. Obviously, there were some areas that got very little rain. Unfortunately, we're going to be in a dry weather pattern that will last us for a while. Meanwhile, temperatures today, most areas in the low to mid 80s, and we're going to get a little bit warmer with most areas in the mid 80s heading into tomorrow as we round out the work week. Winds are not going to be a factor at all, staying less than 10 miles per hour, and for most of the day, probably closer to 5 miles per hour. So that could lead to a little bit more uncomfortable conditions if you're going to be out for an extended period of time with those temperatures in the 80s as we round out the work week. So make sure that you're staying hydrated and staying safe in this heat. Nothing going on, not only in northeast Kansas, but across the entire middle part of the country for the next 3 days as we'll continue with the dry conditions through Saturday. And we're going to continue with the dry conditions, at least in northeast Kansas, Sunday into much of next week as well. Mid to possibly upper 80s heading into Saturday and Sunday. There's even the potential that some areas could be close to 90 over the weekend, especially on Sunday. So we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on that for the second half of the weekend as temperatures do get a little bit cooler to start the work week in the low 80s due to a little bit more cloud cover, but as I mentioned, continues to stay dry. Even the first 2 days of October for next Wednesday and Thursday have dry conditions. There's a chance we might get some rain at some point next Friday and or the weekend, so that's going to be a time frame to watch out for the next opportunity for rain.